You spent months planning. You've invested $500,000 into a steel frame masterpiece with floor-to-ceiling glass and a shop that would make a professional mechanic very jealous. But then, the appraiser walks in. 10 days later, the report comes back $150,000 short of what it cost you to build. In 2026, we are facing a valuation crisis. The market is volatile. The old rules of real estate are failing the modern Barndominium owner. Today, we're breaking down the illusion of comparable sales and giving you the burden of proof strategy to defend your home's true value. The biggest hurdle in 2026 is a 3-mile, 3-comp rule. It's hurting Barndominium owners. The market volatility has slowed traditional sales. Finding 3 sold Barndominiums within a 5-mile radius that match your square footage is now statistically nearly impossible. We couldn't do it. This guy had to go about 40 to 45 miles, the one that did my appraisal. When an appraiser can't find a Barndo, they look at stick-built traditional wood frame homes, which is not fair for the Barndominium. Appraisers use a form from Fannie Mae called the 1004 form. This is the appraiser's Bible. But there's a problem. The 1004, it often categorizes steel frame structures differently. If the appraiser checks the box for other or steel utility, you've already lost. They aren't comparing your custom estate to the mansion down the road. They're comparing it to the high-end shed that your neighbor built 2 months ago. Lenders also have a default setting. If it has metal siding, the software often defaults it to agricultural building. They see a machine shed or a storage unit where you see, a vaulted ceiling living room. This bias can strip 30% of your value before they even look at your granite countertops. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Size matters for a house, but in the Barndo world, the way they calculate size is fundamentally broken. The loft and shop confusion standard, that's what I call it. It's the price per square foot calculations. They hate open concepts. If you have a 30-foot cathedral ceiling with a mezzanine, the appraiser many times only counts the footprint of the house. That massive 2,000 square foot integrated shop, to a bank, that's unconditioned storage. They value it maybe at $25 a square foot. And even if you spent $120 to build it with radiant floor heating, they don't care. Okay, let's talk about the shell versus the finish. There's a massive disconnect between your industrial exterior and your high-end interior. Legacy valuation software sees metal siding and triggers a low-tier preset. It's a low-tier preset. It ignores the $50,000 that you just spent, building your kitchen because it's wrapped in a C-channel steel shell. In 2026, non-traditional floor plans they're being punished. If your mezzanine doesn't meet specific finished height requirements, or if your stairs are industrial, appraisers often exclude that entire level from your gross living area square footage. Now let's talk about the money that you're burying in the ground that the bank thinks it's worth zero. In 2026, rural site prep costs have soared. Clearing land, running 500 feet of electrical lines, and advanced septic systems are very expensive. However, appraisers often use market extraction. That's an actual term, market extraction, which means if the neighbor didn't pay for it, they won't value yours. A basic warehouse uses a fiberglass batch, right? Well, most of the Barndominiums, they most likely use closed cell spray foam, which is high cost installation. We also use high efficiency HVAC systems designed for large volume airspaces. Banks use basic warehouse benchmarks, completely ignoring the energy efficient infrastructure that makes your home a 50-year asset. Legacy software calculates the value of metal siding based on 30-year-old data. It's outdated. It doesn't account for the premium architectural grade steel that we use today in modern builds. They see depreciating metal when me and you know that it's lifetime durability. Now, here's what you have to do. I call it the burden of proof strategy. You can't be passive. You cannot just let these people come into your house and give you an appraisal that's below value. You have to go to war for your evaluation. Now, here's your playbook. Before the drywall goes up, document everything. Take photos, video of the steel gauge, the bolt patterns, the foundation depth, the insulation thickness, all of that stuff. And when the appraiser arrives, you hand it right to him. You had him what I call a structural grade binder. That's what I call it. Make it impossible for them to call it a shed. Don't rely on the local MLS either. You're going to have to use regional Barndominium registries, Facebook owner groups, and stuff like that. You're going to have to find private treaty, which is private sales that happen without a realtor. And you try to go 20 miles, 30 miles. You also need to present those to the appraiser as supplemental evidence. Demand the cost approach. Most appraisals use the sales comparison approach. You need to ask for a cost approach also. Because when you demand a cost approach, you demand that your lender also run an appraisal that calculates what it would actually cost to rebuild your home from scratch today. In a market with few comps, the cost approach is your best friend. Trust me. Looking ahead to 2027, we're seeing a shift. We are. Hybrid valuation models are finally starting to recognize that energy-efficient steel homes like Barndominiums are superior long-term assets compared to rotting wood frames. Another thing that could help you on your valuation is look for a specialized lender. You need to stop going to these big box retail banks. Stay away from banks, Bank of America and Chase and Wells Fargo, all of that. They have no clue. They don't understand you, and they don't understand Barndominiums. You need niche lifestyle lenders like local banks and credit unions who understand that a Barndominium is a luxury estate, not a barn. Your Barndominium is a legacy asset, but in 2026, the system is rigged to undervalue it. You must be your own advocate. You have to do it. Build that portfolio, find the private comps, and don't take, it's just a metal building for an answer. If you're fighting an appraisal right now, drop a comment below. Let's share what's working for you. Don't forget to download our appraisal defense checklist. I created that for free completely. Just look in the description and you can download it for free. Please like and subscribe and share. See you guys next time.